science.
Okay. Short tutorial on one thing that many people in the West especially could make use of. And this is a spiritual path to initiation. We know it from the tribes, like in Africa, when a boy turns 13, he's pushed out into the rainforest or the desert or wherever he lives, and he needs to survive one night among the wild animals, not knowing if he's going to survive. And when he comes back home to his tribe next morning, he turned to be a man. In other cultures you have like war games, where a tiny percentage of young people need to die to make it look serious enough to be good for an initiation. This is what we had between Columbus and the South American tribes that knew war in exactly that manner. They didn't have an idea that European armies go for killing in a war, for total extermination. They thought it would be like, wow, we're sending our youngsters to have an adventure here. You know, this is what they expected. This is why they lost all the wars, because they were not into bloodshed in that form. So there are many natural ways of initiation, and today what we still have are like the church rituals when you turn 13, or bar mitzvah or whatever, which is really not a challenge for a human that would make him adult. It's just an empty ritual. So most of us stay children until something serious happens. With women it's a bit different. Normally in nature the initiation is the birth of the first child. Women who have a cesarean skip that experience, or who go under heavy drugs or other measures to avoid the pain, but a natural birth should be okay for a woman to initiate, and you can see the difference. If you see a woman on the street, you can tell whether she's a mother or not yet. It's something that really engraves itself deep into biology. So this is mainly one for the men who are ripped off and are not allowed to have those rituals anymore. So just in case this is the case, there is an easy trick to handle that problem in a beautiful and easy way. Just remember how it felt like to be a child, when you were in your playful fantasy universes, like you were playing with your Lego or your Matchbox cars, or everything had meaning. It was pointing to something, and it was pointing to the real world, but the world you were living in was made up. If you remember how you were focused back then, your center was somewhere here, and this world was a tiny sphere in that area of your body, where everything was happening, pointing to something that was real, and you delved into the illusion that that playful universe is your reality. And there you can experience yourself. You could experience whether you're good in social interaction, whether you're a team player or a lonely wolf. You could find your place in society, being an alpha, being a beta, being a gamma type of team player. Check if you're more intellectual, talented, or good with your hands. You could experience yourself in that world. But you were not carrying responsibility as a child. Whatever you created, it was good enough because you were a child and you were experimenting, and you were not in responsibility yet to produce something really useful for society. You could at times participate, but if you decided to make something else, mostly the adults were okay with that. So there was no real responsibility in it. Becoming adult means that this universe here in itself, your habit of being centered around this part of your aura sinks in, crosses your heart chakra, sinks into your lower chakra area, into your solar plexus and the sacral chakra. And it aligns with the vital forces that are waiting for it down there. So you merge, you fuse your mental skills, your expressive skills, you fuse them down there with your vital forces, which is will, anger, lust, whatever it takes to be an adult human. And this is something we can consciously do if it did not happen in a natural way. If we were missing the initiation for whatever reason, or life didn't give you that beautiful present yet to be initiated through circumstances, you can just sit down in your chamber and make that decision. Become aware of the child universe. And many adults have that problem that they think that they are actually good in what they are doing, and they don't realize that nobody takes them serious because they are still in this child mode. They are playing, owning a company, and then they are surprised that the company is not successful because nobody is taking the business serious. This is kind of what's happening. This bioenergetic process is not properly done. And it's never too late, you can just do it. So you focus on your center of beingness in this area, you 100% align with this center, and you just make the middle of that ball sink down, cross your heart, go into your lower chakras, and when you feel it's in the correct position, you connect it. And once, kind of trying to give you a good example of the sound, once it's connected, your voice might completely change to something really heavy, meaningful. Might make a difference on the success scores. Anyway, good luck with that one. Sometimes if it's happening very, very, very late, it might collide with things in the spleen, because the spleen is actually the organ that needs to shift from childhood to adulthood with the initiation. So there will be a biochemical shift in the spleen happening if it's properly done. And you might experience pain or possibly even an inflammation of the spleen afterwards. If it's really done in a moment that was coming too late in a lifetime. I had my initiation when I was 53 and my spleen ruptured. So that was almost killing me because I was that late. Just speaking that as a warning that this is a serious shift in your bioenergetic. But normally, even if problems like that appear, when you really go for solving the issues that are spiritually connected to a physical disease, normally the body is self-organizing itself in a good and helpful way and healing those things all by himself. So I was confident that I would survive that, and I did. And yeah, I just thought I might give you that hint that you might have side effects on the spleen when initiating at a later age. Okay? So I would say welcome in the world of the adult.